computers may get more expensive due to 100% tariffs being promised on semiconductors and chips. Also, Intel's new CEO is highly conflicted. According to six-time senior golf winner and president Donald Trump, who took a break from golfing to talk about all of this. So first of all, he announced that he will impose a 100% tariff on all semiconductors and chips unless the companies make commitments to build in the United States. At this point, it's not clear 100% how much manufacturing needs to be done on U.S. soil for it to count as building in America. It's also not clear if these things ever have to actually happen. Was it Foxconn back in the day during the first administration that broke ground on that factory that then just disappeared and was like a huge mystery?
Like might be right, but I mean the biggest example of this, in my opinion, is the American telecom thing, where they're like, everyone's going to get fiber, we're going to spend billions of dollars on this, and then just nothing happened.
Was it Foxconn, you guys?
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, the Foxconn sells former factory to mystery buyer. Apparently it was Foxconn. Foxconn mostly abandons a $10 billion Wisconsin project. This is from April 2021. So it's unclear to me how much of the, hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever that these companies commit is actually contractually obligated to ever take place. Like that Foxconn one was super weird. I forget who it was. I forget if it was The Verge or WAPO or someone. Basically kind of like went around and found the people who legitimately like seemed to work for Foxconn in Wisconsin, and they like wouldn't talk to anybody. And it was super weird. And they had these buildings they were leasing, but like you could look in them and there didn't seem to be anybody in there. And like the whole thing was super, super weird, like super weird. Toaster Pilot says the plan was literally written on a napkin. Yeah, I don't know. There was a photo op and they broke ground, and then the whole thing just seems to have kind of disappeared. Anywho, if a company is either building currently or making a commitment to build in America, there will apparently be no tariff, and whether or not you have to actually follow through on these commitments, TBD, apparently. That same day, Donald demanded that the immediate resignation of Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan, calling him highly conflicted due to his ties to Chinese firms. Since back in April, Tan invested about $200 million in hundreds of Chinese chip manufacturing firms, some being tied to the Chinese military. Tan has not made a comment or spoken about this yet since this public outing by Trump, but the Intel stock did drop about 4% since Trump's posting. Our discussion question is characteristically Eli. Thank you, Elijah, for this. How long before Donald calls you out for being invested in Framework and Eshtec, who makes HexOS?
Isn't Eshtec an American company?
Yes.
So wouldn't that make him happy? Isn't that literally building in America?
I think Framework is American.
I think Carney would need to call you out. I think that's what would need to happen.
Yeah, Framework's American too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the current U.S. administration's good graces.
Yeah, you're just a traitor to Canada, not to the States.
All right. Sorry, my fellow Canadians. It was truly nice being a fellow Canadian with you all. Okay, in all seriousness, I do feel like I already kind of covered this when I was just teasing the topic earlier, but while I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the things that the current U.S. administration is doing, as far as I can tell, whether it's the board or Intel's current CEO or both of them, I am super unhappy with what's happening to Intel right now, and it feels like they've basically made the decision, and maybe they know things that I don't know. Maybe this whole thing is just doomed. It's barreling toward a cliff anyway, and none of this matters. But it seems like pretty much everything they have done since he took the helm, instead of being like, okay, this is my Canadian showing here, I guess, but it feels like Gelsinger came in and he was the unpopular general manager who told the fans, okay, it's a full rebuild. We're stripping down the team. We're going to have literally multiple seasons of not making the playoffs. Yes, it's a hockey analogy. Okay, we're going to have multiple seasons where we don't make the playoffs. We're not even going to smell the Stanley Cup for like the next 3 to 5 years. But what we're going to do is we're going to suck so bad. We're going to put everything. We're going to put everything into the future product. We're going back to recruitment and the farm team and whatever. Okay, my analogy's falling apart. The point is that he came in with a plan that was not a fun plan to endure. And everyone went, okay, good plan. Full rebuild because we want to win the cup in 5 years as opposed to be mediocre forever, right? We don't want to be the Vancouver Canucks, okay? We just want to suck it up, rebuild, and get good later. And then before he got a chance to even, practically nothing, practically no products that were actually started, no projects that were started under Pat were actually seen through to fruition because he said it's going to take this long, and then they ran out of patience because stock price, I guess. And yes, they were losing a lot of money, but that was the plan. The plan was that everything that the previous guys did sucked, which we knew, which was why they hired Pat. We knew that nothing good was in the...
Maybe they needed to pitch it more Silicon Valley style. Maybe they need to show themselves as like a pre-revenue disruption technology company.
Yeah.
Be like, ignore old Intel. This is new Intel.
Yeah.
We are currently pre-revenue seeking investment.
Yeah.
We're going to suck really hard. And just because you might have been a fan of the blue in the past, you're going to come back to the store and buy Intel again.
Dude, I'm frustrated though. It's and so yeah, it feels like everything that LBT has done since he came in is just designed around giving up. Whereas like what I liked about Pat's vision was the vision was to fight. And I am, it's so funny to watch the perception of me sort of shift around because people be like, Linus flip-flopping. Now he's cheering for AMD. Now he's cheering for Intel. I am always going to root for the underdog in any given market segment because what I'm always rooting for is healthy competition, which is better for the companies because it holds them accountable, keeps a fire in their belly, and it's better for consumers because it means lower prices and better products. And so, yeah, am I rooting for Intel right now? Hard. And is it good for Intel when they're shedding thousands upon thousands upon thousands of jobs? I don't know. Maybe, actually. Possibly. But when it seems like those jobs are being shed just without, as far as I can tell, a clear plan to return to the top, well, that's where I kind of lose it. Like what was one of the most recent developments? They're talking about like spinning off the networking business, and I'm sitting here going, I'm like, okay, like spin off can be a good thing. Like I have personally advocated for NVIDIA spinning off their GeForce business. I think it could make a ton of sense for the users of GeForce products. If NVIDIA didn't have to have their margins dragged down by this business unit that frankly, no one at the top really cares about anymore. You designate people who are supposed to care about it. It has lower margin targets and it can just go back to delighting gamers, which is what GeForce used to fucking do, right? Before they all stopped caring about it completely.
Yeah.
So I've advocated for this before, but on the Intel side of things, it's just like, oh yeah, well, we're going to spin out this, we're going to spin out that. And it looks more like they're spinning out things as acquisition targets and less like they're spinning out business units so that they can overall perform more efficiently as a company. Yeah, Lightmaster 1. I can't believe we're at the point where Intel is the underdog that we need to root for, because otherwise we're going to be left with one x86 processor company. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the details around it, but from my understanding, neither Intel nor AMD has the right to assign their x86 license. So if for whatever reason they are not leapfrogging each other, you just have a frog. It doesn't fucking leap anymore. You just have a frog.
It just sits on the pedal.
It just sits there.
Yeah, and like if you know, Intel seems to have some aspirations in the GPU space to go higher and higher. AMD doesn't seem to care about their GPU space that much right now because they just can't stop winning on CPU.
Actually, Dr. Sue did an interview. I think it was earlier this week, where she basically said what everyone knows, which is that the issue for them on the GPU side is that they need to make more. So maybe she cares. It legitimately sounded like she cared.
Like they need to manufacture more?
Yeah.
Or they need to make more money?
She was like, yeah, we're bottlenecked by how much we can make right now, and we want to make more, is pretty much what I took away from it. So
maybe Intel should spin off their foundries and AMD should buy them.
No, I think the days of vertical integration, if Intel can't make it work, I don't think it's happening, man. I just don't think it's happening. The problem is that we need a second foundry, and Samsung just doesn't seem to be able to do it. Not at the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Because it all just comes down to TSMC being a monopoly and ASML being the monopoly that TSMC is beholden to.
Monopoly. Yeah.
And I have some hope when it comes to fab tools. It sounds like Japan has kind of gone like, huh? Like that seems like they're kind of like awake, seeing how much money ASML is contributing to their national economy. And you know what? Look, if there's anyone who is going to kind of figure out the optics and figure out cutting edge manufacturing, I'd say if I was going to bet on a horse, Japan would certainly be one I'd be strongly considering. There's a lot of expertise there, but right now it's not happening. And I'm stressed, dude, because you see what AMD does when they get complacent. We waited 2 years between Threadrippers just now. 2 years? And the top end chip is $5,000. Do you remember first and even to a degree second and third gen Threadripper? They were like killer value.
I remember when the first Intel Extreme chip broke $1,000 and everyone freaked out.
Dude, AMD was practically giving it away on the street corner back when first gen Threadripper came out. And it's like now they're all like, you know, you gotta take me out first. Buy me some fancy presents, you know? Make me feel like your real girlfriend. It's like, bro, this is a transaction. I just want my fucking CPU. You know? Yeah. I don't want to treat you nice. Just give me my CPU cores.
I think a lot of that stuff happens in the city that I'm in right now.
Sorry, are you going to elaborate, or is that it?
Your analogy of not wanting to take them out to dinner.
Oh.
I'm in Vegas.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Sure.
It seems like the guests to Vegas are really low. Like there's not very many just like people here.
Well, you always go during CES though. So that might just be...
I've heard this is a thing though. And
oh,
like
really?
There seems to be less people here than there was the last time I was here for DEF CON. And like it seems like there's probably the same amount or more DEF CON attendees, but like the like random people within Vegas seems... Sure. The population seems very low right now.
Well, it seems to be a very K-like economic recovery is kind of the term. It seems like the higher income folks are feeling real great about how things are going. I mean, the stock market's all-time high. Gold is near all-time high. I haven't actually paid attention to Bitcoin recently. What's it at? Bitcoin to USD. Not all-time high, but it's basically near all-time high. Like everything's near all-time high. So if you're investor class, you're sitting good. You're sitting tight. You're sitting easy. But
as far as my understanding goes, there is a big reported drop in attendance to Vegas in general. And you can feel just walking around that the people working to people here to vacation or whatever, the ratios are like off. It's weird. Like, you know how there's taxi lines outside of the hotels? Now there's just like a massive row of taxis and nobody there. When I went to get picked up from the airport, I was waiting for an Uber, and at least 5 or 6 like black cars came by asking if I needed a ride, and then they drove off to other people that were standing near the road.
No one's ever offered me a ride in Vegas.
No.
Like you have to like fight someone to get a car. Is more like.
And there's a there's a lot of people here working and not an incredible amount of people here attending, it seems.
Oh man, the chat is the chat is too real right now. Avon Fox says, Vegas was a magnet for the poor with hopes. No one can afford to go there now, even for hope. Yikes. Honestly, I think Kren nailed it though. Everyone's just sports betting now.
Yeah.
Like why go to Vegas to do that?
Yeah.
When you can do it from the toilet.
And there was sports betting in Vegas before. Yeah, I mean, but you could play blackjack and slots online before, and Vegas was still popular.
Yeah, that's true.
And they have arenas here now, like they have the Vegas Golden Knights.
So you can come bet on sports in person.
Yeah. But it might just be a generational shift. And, you know, like you're saying, K-shaped economy, the lower end doesn't have as much money to blow on gambling. I know people don't stop spending. In some cases, they spend more on entertainment when the economy's bad because everything sucks and they want to make themselves feel better. So they spend money on entertainment. But traveling somewhere in order to blow all your money is maybe one of the first things for some people to go when it comes to entertainment spending.
Oh, which airline just did a bunch of layoffs? Hold on, who was it? No, I thought someone did. Oh no, maybe I was reading about the strike. Oh no, yeah, Spirit. Spirit says that they're going to furlough 270 pilots. I don't know if Spirit's just doing bad though. So. Yeah, make of that what you will. Solid Deer says Southwest is having a hard time apparently though. Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny thing because people seem to be generally afraid to use the R word, recession. What? What, Dan? What'd you think I was going to say? My stocks. I gotta sell. See, people seem to be afraid to use the R word, and yet everything that I can see is like
unemployment's incredibly high. Layoffs are happening all over the place.
Are we gonna use the word?
We're losing a lot of good jobs and gaining a bunch of junk jobs.
Luxury brands are downgrading their guidance due to softening demand. Can I just. As an aside, okay, so I was also traveling this week. I actually just got back this morning. I went to Edmonton. It's a funny thing. I never really did much travel within Canada, but this summer we were looking to go somewhere, and we were like, what the heck? Why don't we road trip? And then, anyway, the point is that I went to a mall, and I lived there for 3 days. And I visited with my brother, who moved there a couple of years ago. Cost of living is like markedly better. Shout out Edmonton.
Oh yeah.
If you don't mind living in Edmonton. Fun fact, did not know this. He's full of little fun facts about Edmonton now that he lives there. It is apparently, I'm just going based on what my brother said, so make of this what you will, but it is apparently the northernmost like metropolis, like city with over 1 million full-time residents, which I didn't know. I didn't realize how north flipping Edmonton is. It's very north.